Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey guys, so I'm just starting my AWS instance. Let us start, then we'll continue from tomorrow's. We'll continue what we have left yesterday. So we were about to start system configuration, Hadoop related configuration, and quickly I will revise how many file we have to open and work on. Okay, so this was, I believe, step number 13. If I continue from yesterday step where we have left in between. This 13th step is configuration for your services, configuration for your site XMLs, right? So these are all XML file, core, site, .xml, HDFS, site, .xml, yarn site.xml, maprate site.xml, and Hadoop env.sh, Hadoop env.sh. Okay, but where I can see, we know already core side XML is responsible for which configuration, HDFS side XML, yarn side XML, and these are is all standard value. It's not I'm giving some value by my own. This is all standard value defined by Apache. So Apache has already fixed this value, and if you want to see how many standard values are there, we can go and see the cluster setup part. So here we can search. Here we can search single node cluster setup in 2.x in Hadoop 2.x, second generation basically. So when you type this, we have this link also available. You can click on this, or maybe you can go to Apache link, this one. And this is all the configuration file. If you see core site, XML, then HDFS site XML, maprate site XML, yarn site XML. So I'll use all the configuration related information from here only. Okay, this is what is a Hadoop single node cluster defined by Apache. This is my EC2 instance. So first we'll log in here. And how do we log in to AWS instance? We take the DNS, right? We take the domain name server. So I'll copy this. And this is changing every time. So whenever you start and stop, I think you have not yet created account in this AWS, right? So do one thing, because what happens, I think a couple of you had a question that if you launch your instance in AWS, you can only use freely for 3 months or so. Okay, that's true, because Amazon is popular. I mean, Amazon is popular across cloud computing platform. If I compare between Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, if I tell you the share of Amazon, this is somewhere in 36% in the cloud side. Microsoft Azure is somewhere in 11%, and Google Cloud Platform is somewhere in 9%. So this is giving you 1 year free service. Okay. Yesterday, I was checking a couple of other things. So here I can create 8 GB machine or 16 GB machine. 16 GB machine, when I say this is about RAM. This we can create, but here we are bound to create in AWS. We are just creating 1 GB RAM. Okay. But once we know how to create an instance in Amazon, we can do the same thing. This information is there in PowerTech blog. So I have created a blog, and in this blog, if I go to Hadoop, let me search it here. GCP instance launch. by Pervertic. One second. Just a second, guys. I'm actually searching where exactly is this. In Hadoop. Let me check the link and I'll share that link with you guys. So this is just like Amazon, how we are creating information is given for Google Cloud Platform, and reason being uh, why why we should create here, why not here? Because this is a limited service. This is a full service for 1 year, so we can use freely this without any problem. Okay. Now to log in this, I'll get this DNS address. Open my terminal. CD downloads. AWS PEM. This is the location where I have kept my PEM file, and SSH minus I. This is how we connect. This is my PEM name. This is my username @ paste. Yes. Whenever you log in, always run this command first. Check whether Java version is working. Hadoop version is also running. Once this is done, then we'll go to cd Hadoop home lslrt. Now, how many configuration folders are important here for you? So configuration folders, which we often refer for configurations or for file movement, is bin, sbin, lib. This 3 folder is important. Inside bin, you have all your executable file, which are .sh. Sh stand for shell, right? Because you are in Ubuntu. If it is Windows, we know that this is a .exe file. So all the executable will be there inside bin folder. Inside lib, all Hadoop dependency. So when we run a program, after setting this cluster, when we run a program, we'll be using all the binary file of this lib folder. So all, not binary, all the jar file. So Hadoop dependency, when I say dependency, this is nothing but a jar file. So if you know jar file, it's well and good. If you don't know, I'll take you this in the process part. Jar stands for Java archival. It's a byte code. It's a byte code. Because when you run a program, when you create any program, so you write in a assembly language, right? You write in a assembly language. That program, any program, be it Python, Scala, Java, C, those are written in assembly. Now, once you compile and interpret them this assembly language, they convert internally into bytecode, because your system does not understand this. Your system understand this. Okay. So we'll be creating this jar file using our IDE, and you have already installed this IDE. This will be IntelliJ. I'll be using IntelliJ because we will be writing our code in Scala, and for a Scala programmer, IntelliJ is more preferred compared to Eclipse and all options. Okay, because here we have all autocomplete, um, internal. Their functions are already called in Eclipse. Everything you'll have to write by yourself. There is no suggestion. Okay, so I have worked with Eclipse also. It's not that I have started working with IntelliJ. I have worked with Eclipse also, hence I can better compare with this two. Or if you want to know the difference, you can Google it up. Which is the best for Scala? This is best or this is best? You'll get the answer. So these 3 files are important, and we will search our this file: core site, HDFS, yarn, MapRed, Hadoop. Where we'll find this? So this all the files are present inside etc folder. If I go to etc, look, whenever you don't know anything, go one by one and use lslrt. Again, I'll go inside Hadoop, lslrt. This is the location where my all the file are present. Okay. Now let me show you first one by one. So core site.xml. This is first one. Second, HDFS site XML. HDFS site XML. Third, yarn site XML. Yarn site XML. Fourth, MapRate site XML. So MapRate site XML has a template. MapRate site XML has a template. We'll create a new file using the same template. We'll create the new file using the same template as MapRate site.xml. Okay, so using till this, we'll create one file. This is also present. And last file is Hadoop-Env.sh. Hadoop-Env.sh is this one. So this is my total 5 files which I'll open and start configuring. And this is all standard set by Apache, as I have shown you this page, single node cluster setup in 2.x. So let's start this cluster setup activity. I'll open one by one, guys. So since I remember all the value, I can write it as directly properties here. But if you don't remember, you can take a help of this page. You can take a help of this page, and you can start doing it. So once this video is shared, you can use any approach. You can search it here, or you can, what I'm writing, you can write it here. So I am going to write the same thing inside this configuration. Inside this configuration, we are setting our property, and remember, we are doing this manually. Okay, so manually means all the setup is done by us. It's not provided by some distribution packages. That is the reason I told you guys, when we work in a real-time environment, you will not be preferring this. In real-time environment, my own cluster. So currently I'm working with a 16 node cluster in my production setup, where we take 179 MB of data in every 3 seconds. My data ratio, my input data which is coming from a server, is in every 3 seconds is 178 MB. So you can assume that what is my total volume in daily basis. So daily easily it is reaching to terabytes of data. Okay, based on this calculation, you can make your own calculation. So we are using distribution packages in production. We never use this manual is, remember, it is just good for learning and testing purpose. It's good for testing and learning. Distribution packages, once this learning is done, once our single node cluster is done, then we will go and use our Cloudera 5.13 to work on. Okay, Cloudera, I can use Hortonworks. These two I'll prefer mainly, Cloudera or HDP, which I can set in my local machine. Okay, now many has a question that we have an old version in Cloudera of couple of stack of Hadoop, right? No problem. Cloudera gives you patch. Cloudera provides you patch, so you can use this patch and you can upgrade your version if you're interested to do that. Okay, this informations are available in the Cloudera official sites. You can download their patch and upgrade it from whichever service you want to upgrade. This is how industry works. Because suppose today I'm in production, I'm having this version, and my business says, or I want to upgrade my Cloudera. Then how do I upgrade it? What happens? Your admin sends you a mail that this weekend we are going to upgrade our cluster. So do not deploy anything in the production for 2 days or 3 days. Okay. So once we receive the mail, we stop our all the job and we place them in hold. Once they go in hold, then they start upgrading it. So they do not delete the complete version of the previous and they install the new one. What they do, if suppose they 5.13 is there and they want to install 6.0, they just upgrade it. So there is one small command of Cloudera to upgrade this 6.0 from 5.13. Okay, so I'll not go to more on this because this is all related to admin activities. It's not a development task, so it's not our forte or our place of area where we'll be actually working. So we'll do the basic part. Just to understand how things are working. Open property, close property. Inside this, I will write a name, close the name, value, and close the value. So first I created a tag, and after this, I will give a name fs.default fs. Value is hdfs colon local host colon 9000. I'll copy this to save my effort. Copy and paste, copy and save. Once this is done, I'll open my new file, sudo vi hdfs site.xml. Here I'm setting my replication factor. So this name will be dfs.replication and value is, you're creating single node cluster, right? So value will be 1. Then one property where to keep all the name node fs images and edit logs. The path we set here, physical path of metadata we set here. So dfs dot name dot directory, and I will set this to home user, and sorry, this is Ubuntu, home Ubuntu, and I'll give Nilesh name node. This folder should not be present by default, guys. If this folder is already available, your service will not start. So make sure that this is created at runtime. This should not be present by default. Once this is done, I'll copy this property as well. dfs.data.directory, and this I will give as Nilesh dn. This name can be anything, okay? This is just a logical name. Since I have already set these things in my machine with a one name and data name, that's why I'm giving different name here. So this is the folder where my all the metadata will store, and this is the folder where my all the data will store. Save this file. Now next one, sudo vi maprate site.xml, and carefully save them. I need maprate site.xml, this one, but it is having .xml .template. So how can I make a maprate site.xml file using cp command, right? Or you can move the entire file and change the name maprate site.xml. So file name will change. Let me clear this, lslrt. So this is the file maprate site.xml. I'll open this, sudo vi maprate site.xml. Go here, and I'll take this values now. I'll not write individually. I'll take this value from my Gmail account, and I'll search here yarn setup. This is the file which I open. I'll copy the property from here and paste in this. So let me read this for you. What is the name? mapreduce.framework.name, and value is yarn. Okay. Then second property we have maprate.job.tracker, and we have the value localhost 9001. If I remember, in core site XML we have given 9000, and here we are giving 9001. Okay, there are two port numbers accepted. This you can use, or there is another port number for core site XML 8020. This is for core site.xml. core site. You can use this one or you can use this one. The two port numbers are there. And in map rate site XML, if you're using 8021, here you'll have to give 8021. If you're using 9000, you'll have to give 9001. Okay. We're giving port numbers near so that communication should be faster. And this is, we are communicating one system only, so won't make any difference. After setting these two values, sudo vi yarn site.xml, again copy paste and paste this value, and I just arrange it well. So name in name, save this also. 4 configuration is done. Last Hadoop env.sh is required. So Hadoop env.sh we are setting to provide JVM to our Hadoop services or daemons. I'll be using interchangeable services. How can we check where my Java is set in this machine? So we can print using echo dollar Java underscore home. Okay, I'll copy this. I'll copy this value and open my file sudo vi hadoop env dot sh and save it here. So right click and paste. This is just one line I need to change in this file, and that's it. Save it. So all 5 configuration is done. My step number 13 is done. Let me write top. Whenever I go away from this terminal, whenever I go and do something else in my system, I use top so that the system is remain active. It should not go to inactive state. Step number 14th will be, step number 14th, we are doing network configuration. Network configuration. Okay, this is for multi-node cluster. This is the most important step, because after setting all the configuration, if this is not done, you cannot communicate between this machine. So why I'm working on this step, that I'll explain you. So suppose I have total currently I'm having 3 different machine, right? 4 different machines. So this is my machine, this is my machine. Suppose I have created one, and you guys have one machine. So Swapnila has one more, Rutu has another, and Satish and Anindya. Okay, so we have total how many machine here? Total 5 machine we have. Now, if I want to communicate in between this, right? If I want to communicate, now obviously out of this 5 machine, I will make some of master and some of slave, because Hadoop works with master and slave concept, right? So I'll make some of the master and some of the slave. Let's make one as a master machine and one for other as a slave machine. So consider anyone is a master and slave. I'm not focusing on this which one is master and which one is slave. I'm currently focusing on the communication side. So if I want to do remote communication, if I want to do remote communication, right? So how can I establish this? To establish this remote communication, I'm running this step, guys. There are 3 different commands in the network side. There are 3 different commands in the network configuration side. We'll be running just after understanding this whole concept. So remote communication is known as a password-less communication. It's a password-less communication, which means when I'm communicating from my machine to any of this machine, when I'm communicating from my machine to any of this machine, okay, I should be able to communicate. I should be able to communicate without a password. And same thing goes to this machine also. Same thing goes to this machine also. That they can also communicate to my machine. This is what is a network. This is whole your network created without any password. Because currently, if I try to communicate, I need to check the whether the firewall is there or not, SSL setting is there or not, right port number is there or not, TCP is enabled or not, FTP software is there or not, ICMP is working or not. So many protocols are required. Okay. So what is a good and better practice here? All these instances, all these instances we should launch in one region. Then it creates a better communication. So my machine, your machine, let me name it as node 1, node 2, node 3, node 4, and node 5. So all these 5 machines should be available in one region. That is a good practice. Okay. So suppose this is all in Mumbai. So if we launch all in Mumbai, and though we have individual account, right? You have your own account, I have my own account. So still we can communicate using some of the strategy, and that strategy is a network configuration. So let me run this network configuration part to enable this. But currently we have just one machine, so we'll allow only one host to communicate. There are two different IPs. So when you type ipconfig in Windows and ifconfig in Ubuntu. When you type ifconfig, you get two IP address. This is one and this is second. This one is a localhost 127.0.0.1. Or if I want to check my host name, there's a command cat /etc/hostname. This is one host name. And if I check the number of hosts which are present in the system, you can check. This is also available with the name localhost. So I will create a connection for this localhost because I have a single node cluster. I don't have this many instances available, right? Currently this is just one instance. Now my commands are this. SSH. So first I will create my my secure key. First I will create my secure key, which is SSH minus keygen key generator minus T. And now I will give my method to create a key generation. So there are multiple methods: MD5, DSA, RSA. Okay, I'll use RSA. I'll use RSA to create this. Since I already have available, this is asking me you want to overwrite it. I don't want to overwrite, that's why I'll give no. But if I want to overwrite it, let's say I'll give Y. I'll give Y. Enter passphrase, empty for no passphrase. This option will not come to you guys because you're doing first time. I've already ran this more than 50 times in this machine, right? So that's why they are asking me to override it. I said yes. Enter passphrase. I'll not enter. I'll just give enter. That's it. I'll not write anything. Enter same passphrase again enter. This is one SHA key, encrypted key, which is created for my machine. So what do you mean by encrypted? Using this key now I'll try to establish my connection with the local host. So that local host can directly communicate without any permissions because that is the host. What is the second command? Cat .ssh id underscore rsa dot pub. Pub is stand for public. This sign, if you know, so this sign is for append, guys. This single sign is for overwrite. This double sign is for append. Space dot ssh, and I will save this key in my authorized keys file. I'll save this information which I have created in this authorized keys so that I can when I go and communicate, every time this hostname will check this authorized keys, and if it is matching it will allow, if it is not matching it will not allow. That's what internally it means. Now last command is ssh copy id -i .ssh. This is the folder where I have my public key. If you want to see this public key, you can use cat and this key, this file name. You'll see there is encrypted key with 2048-bit encryption. So this is the encryption level. There are many encryption levels: 16-bit encryption, 128-bit encryption, 64-bit encryption. So this is very high level encryption, 2048. So if you know, when we develop any application, right, and when we go to client, so client asks what is your security level, layer, how many levels of security you have, especially in the banking sites. Okay, so they have 7 to 8 layers of security. Layer means if any hacker is hacking one layer, second layer, third layer, they keep doing this encryptions. Okay, so what this MD5 or RSA thing does, even I am designing one encryption key, I cannot read it. I cannot directly read it. Every time it creates a new key. So only system can understand it. Human cannot understand it. That's how this encryption key is generated. So .ssh id underscore rsa dot public. What is my username? So my username is Ubuntu, and I want to bind this with my host name, which is localhost. So this is the last one. When I said, it says this is already installed and some information. Now I will check whether I'm able to communicate or not. So to checking purpose, I gave SSH localhost. Once this is done, it is saying me welcome to Ubuntu LTS, which means all my previous three step, first I created SSH, second I have appended this RSA with my file, and third I am authorizing my username and hostname. Then I'm checking the communication that all three steps which I ran is successfully done or not. Now your communication is there, you're inside the localhost already. Last step, last step of your cluster, which is step number 15, I guess. Okay, so step number 15 is start cluster services. Start cluster services. And there are multiple commands to start the cluster. Suppose you want to start one service at a time. Okay, you want to start one service at a time. Start one service or daemon at a time. So what does this mean? That I only want to start, let's say, name node or maybe data node, but only one service at a time. Second, I'll write the script name just in a while. So let's write the heading first. Now, if I want to start HDFS daemon. So quickly guys, can you reply me how many services comes under HDFS? How many service comes under HDFS? Look, we'll be revising this previous topic again and again, because if you forget the previous topic, next week will not be clear. So try answering. Start MR2 daemon, and MR2 I'm technically calling as yarn only daemons. And then last one is start all daemons. Anyone? Any reply guys? How many services comes under HDFS? So try it at least. I'm not looking for the right answer. I'm at least looking for the approaches, so that we can make session more interactive if you communicate with me as we go forward in the session. Good, Satish. Fine guys, just one answer, that's okay. But HDFS daemons, first I will start one daemon at a time, and here my service name is Hadoop. Let me write it, then I will show you in this cluster. where they are present. And again, I will write TOP. Hadoop daemon dot sh space my parameter, which is start space service name. So any service you can give, right? You can give name node. So within this parameter I'm writing, you can give data node, name node, resource manager. But remember, one service at a time. You cannot pass all you can pass either one of it. Similarly, the way you are starting, you can stop it also. Just in place of this start, you will have to write a stop if you want to stop it. So parameter will change. We'll see when this one service at a time is required. Next one, HDFS daemons. This is a start minus dfs.sh. And one answer I get. So guy who has joined last is answering. That's good part. Name node, data node, secondary name node, yarn. Yarn is uh, yarn is resource manager and node manager. Now, to start this MR2, this script name is start hyphen yarn dot sh. This will only start resource manager and node manager. So this two script Hadoop has given you. If you want to start separately, you can call this one first and then second one yarn.sh. What if I want to start all the daemons? Then there's a script name start hyphen all dot sh. When I say all, it is starting name node, data node, secondary name node, resource manager, and node manager. So this is all services, all daemons started. Okay. After this, where we can see this all. So this all this things is available inside your sbin directory. Let me go there first to sbin directory. cd hadoop home slash sbin lsLRT hadoop daemon.sh. This is my first script, hadoop daemon.sh. I'll just give here start after this and whichever service I want to start. Whichever service I want to start, but only one service at a time. Second one is start hyphen dfs. So start hyphen dfs. Where is that start hyphen dfs? Is this start hyphen yarn. Start hyphen yarn is yeah, it is here. Then start all.sh here. This the way you have seen a start command. Similarly, there is stop command also. So if you want to stop them, you can see it stop all.sh, stop dfs.sh, stop yarn.sh, and for this you can pass, instead of a start, you can pass a stop. So this is all your script, okay, to start the services. Now, whenever you set up your cluster first time, let me make one note here. Whenever you set up your cluster first time, we will have to format the name node. Whenever we set up cluster in Hadoop, we need to format name node in order to set up a cluster, and why we are formatting, first we'll see. So we need to format name node to refresh their metadata, to refresh their metadata. When I say metadata, what comes in your mind is FS images and edit logs, is FS images and edit logs. Okay. So do we have any command in Hadoop? You can use two commands for help. In Hadoop, you can use one admin related command and second developer related command. So admin related command, you can type HDFS and enter in your terminal. Development related command, you can write HDFS and DFS. So this will list you all the development. Let me do this. So we know how these things will work, and now we can write HDFS. So clear the screen first. Now I can call it from anywhere, right? Because this is all set. I can call it from anywhere because already I have set my Hadoop cluster in this. So do we know the script? The script is as follows: HDFS. This is the Hadoop admin related command. Can you see the second one? Can you see this second? This is my column 1. This is my column 2. So in column 1, I have all the command, and in column 2, I have all the description related to that command. So column 1 is first one, DFS. DFS says run a file system command on the file system supported in Hadoop. This is not required currently. First, I need this name node minus format, which says format the DFS file system. There are so many other commands which I'm not interested, as this is admin related command. I'm interested on this part to format the name node. Then if I want to get development related, I'll use HDFS and DFS and enter. This is all dev related work or dev related commands. Okay. Now, what is the command to format the name node? Command to format the name node is this. Command to format name node. And why we are formatting, I've given a note in above. This script name is HDFS name node minus format. Here I will run HDFS name node minus format. When I run this, it says, so you should read this all the information. What is the default replication? What is the VM type? What is the maximum replication you can give in your cluster? Then replication check interval in millisecond. Okay, this is all info. Information of your cluster. I'm more interested to read this acknowledgement, this line. So this line is saying home Ubuntu Nilesh -nn has been successfully formatted. So when you're getting this successfully message, which means your cluster name node is formatted. What is the next command? To start the cluster. Now option is with me whether I want to start one by one or I want to start all service at a time. So I will run this start DFS and start yarn so that I can check all HDFS services up and all MR2 services up. The command is as follows. Start. So let me clear the screen. Start hyphen dfs.sh. Can you read acknowledgement? Starting name node starting data node, starting secondary name node. I'll type JPS. JPS stands for Java Process Server. So JPS will list me all the names. This JPS is one by default. This has a started, second, and third. My second script is a start hyphen yarn dot sh. This will start resource manager and node manager. Again JPS. And can you see your all services are up and active? 3 is from HDFS and 2 is from resource manager. Sorry, yarn. I was looking first to start this and then I can start other activities. So other activities as in I want to check them. How can I check them in my web? So this is a terminal. But suppose I want to check this in web. So if I want to check this in web, we have already allowed these two services, HTTP and HTTPS, if I remember, right? HTTP 80 port number and HTTPS port number is 443. We have set this both the things in our rules of AWS EC2. If you revise my previous video, I did this when I was creating instance. But for you guys, you are using Ubuntu image, right? So Ubuntu image already has all these things. So no need to set up this all the rule. We set the rule when we launch any instances in the cloud side. Now, if I want to check this in web, I'll go back to my, let me use TOP here again. So whenever I go away, I'll use TOP frequently. Where is my AWS? This is my AWS instance. The best part, now this cluster can be accessible from your location also. This cluster can be accessible from your location also. Does not matter you are in Pune or you are in Africa or you are in Europe, anywhere. Just go to this tab, print this DNS, or you can test it. Okay, you can open your tab in your machine and write whatever I have written. EC2 132. I think you can do this also. Let me just test it. You can copy this also, I guess. So when I give this and 50070, this should also work. Yeah, best. Can you test it? Can you write this in your tab? I'm just asking you so that I know whether the communication is there or not. Can you acknowledge me if you're able to see? I'll wait for 2 minutes. Test it and please revert me. You're getting the same information like me or not? Thanks, Swapnil, for confirmation. How about others? How about others? I think others are sleeping. Okay, no problems. So this is my IP address and port number. Now, as you know, this port number I'm using for name node port number, right? 50070 belongs to name node, so I can see all the information related to name node. 7.4869 GB. This was out of 8 GB because some are used by your background services. DFS used 24 KB, and many information is there. Okay. If I scroll it down, I'll see where is my name node, metadata getting stored, image and edit logs. This is the FS image and edit logs. I'll show you this just in a while. Just be with me for some time. Live nodes, how many number of machine are running currently? So we have one instances running. That's why live node is one. Now, if I want to see my process related services, that how many jobs are running, how many have been closed, I'll use again this IP address here and colon 8088. And this port number, if you remember, this is for resource manager. This will list me all the resource manager. Okay. Memory total, they have given me 8 GB to store. This is my hard disk. Well, okay. 8 GB is hard disk. Memory used 1 GB. This is your RAM. Then the application submitted some default services, default applications. vCores total, vCores used, one vCore. Okay. And one vCore has total hard disk 8 GB. Virtual cores. This is known as a CPU also, right? Core processing unit. Active node is one. This is my active node. And if I click on this node services, currently I am not running any job, so I cannot see that. Well, this is just a monitoring purpose. This is how you monitor. This is a monitoring uh, terminal. Using this, you can monitor it. So can I say my cluster setup part is done now? Now I'm good to start my actual development related activity. Actual development activities. Okay. So development activities means now I'll start copying, changing, moving, deleting file from one server, local server to HDFS. This is what happened in real time also. If you remember, in real time, your data is going from upstream source to downstream source. Upstream source to downstream source. Upstream source is nothing but some web server, right? Let's say you go today. I'll give one very quick example. Let's say you go today to powertech.in. Okay, you're practicing it late night. Suppose 3 a.m. you're working, and you want to ask a query to support. So you go to this name, you go to this name, email, contact, subject, and you write your problem statement here that I'm unable to connect this or that. So once this is done, once you drop the query, where this query is getting stored, and this website is what? This website is having some IP address, and this is nothing but I'm calling as a web server. So this is the upstream source. Similarly, if you go to amazon.com or .in, do they say you can only purchase from 9 to 6? All, what is the benefit of internet? That you can purchase anytime, 24/7. So that's why their revenue is bigger than the local shops, right? You can go anytime. So well, I'm not going to the operational activity of it. I'm going currently to the server communication. So that is a web server. Using this IP you communicate, and this data will store in some of the RDBMS. This data will store in some of the RDBMS. This can be RDBMS, Oracle, MySQL, SQL, any of it. Now, I have information available in this machine, this server, and suppose this server is in Chennai. This is their physical location. All my data from web server is going to a store, and this web server is launched in somewhere in Bangalore. So using this IP address, it is going and communicating to Chennai, and all the data is getting stored in this downstream server. Now Hadoop is designed for analysis purpose. This is your HDFS storage of Hadoop. What is your first objective or task to extract all data from here and copy to HDFS. This is what I want to do. I want to do data extraction or data migration, right? So here in RDBMS, I have my table because database creates a table, and in HDFS I'm having a file. This is my first activity, guys. When you work with a Hadoop, your first job is to extract the data as a developer using there are many tools available. There are Scoop utility there are Spark SQL which can do it. Spark SQL has some of the limitation, so all the functionality is not available. We will have to write some of the functionality by ourselves. You can use Informatica. You can use Informatica. Okay, so they can ask a question. If you say that you have used Scoop in your project, there could be another question: why specifically Scoop? Why not Spark SQL or Informatica? So you can compare it. You can compare those part, take as an assignment and search it. What is the difference between Scoop and Spark SQL, Scoop and Informatica, and you'll get the answer. I don't want to go to the theoretical part more to make this session boring. I want to get 80% things practical. So I'll be focusing on the architecture and practicals. Whenever it is comparing and theoretical things, I'll give that assignment to you guys. Okay, we'll start tomorrow this activity. Not exactly this, but we will get all the data from our local file system, which is our Ubuntu, to HDFS file system. This communication will start tomorrow.